Now, this is the sort of topic that I've previously avoided talking about on this channel. As a foreigner, I've never felt it to be my business, but enough is enough. And this is the sort of topic that more YouTubers should be talking about, in my humble opinion. As wonderful as the Philippines can be, it can be extremely sad to see so many people living in poverty daily. And this is nothing new, and in fact, it's been going on in the Philippines for decades. I remember my first visit some 45 years ago, and the poverty was one thing that really struck me at the time. And now, all these years later, I see even more poverty, not just in the province areas, but you'll see people sleeping on the street under cardboard boxes and right near freeways. And this is going on all over the greater Manila area. Now, if you have a genuine interest in the Philippines, and more particularly for the people, then I'll discuss some very hard truths as to why this situation in this country is not getting any better, and in fact, most likely it's getting worse. So be sure to buckle up and stay with me here. As I say, if you have a genuine interest in the Philippines and its people, then be sure to subscribe to my channel, where I have over 1,000 videos in my various playlists. In my opinion, there are several reasons why things are not improving around poverty, and why so many, even those who are working long and hard hours, fail to earn enough money to get out of poverty. Of course, the most obvious and well known would be the vast corruption that's been going on in the Philippines for many years, and at least since I was born, that's for sure. I'm sure many will remember Ferdinand Marcos's reign over the Philippines, and the amount of money that was taken away from the people at that time. Now, I don't think I need to go any further into that in this video, because it's all well documented, and finally it ended with People Power Revolution in February of 1986. But why has nothing improved in almost 40 years since this historic, peaceful and successful event? The thing is, at the moment, corruption is still everywhere in the Philippines, and it's not like too many are really trying to hide it. Everywhere from the top officials, right down through to many businesses, to law enforcers, and down to some local barangay captains, who are all seeking to take advantage of their positions at the cost of the little person who can least afford it. And this is allowed to happen because there's nothing in place to make these people accountable. They're given the money or packages to distribute pretty much in good faith that they'll get to the people who are in need. So essentially, it's a failure in the system and their procedures that allow this to happen. Another very important factor in creating generational poverty is around education. Now, for many, when they're young, their families may not be able to afford to continue a child's education for one reason or another. It could be simple things like they can't afford to give them lunch each day and would rather the child stay home than be embarrassed or ridiculed at school. It could be the parents need the child to stay home to help with the business, or to look after the younger siblings, or even to take care of a sick relative. I can assure you, as sad as all these things are, it's very common as to why a child may not be able to finish their basic education. Now, the problem here is that there's no pathway later in life for them to better themselves around education, which may lead to a better job or more income. Now, when there's no pathway or hope for a better future, what are people going to do? Well, they may give up on trying altogether, or they may turn to a life of crime rather than living a life that seems destined to never change. And I'm sure many of these people who couldn't get a decent education in their younger years would certainly do very well studying if only given the chance, where then they could go on to possibly escape the poverty they're currently trapped in. In my country, Australia, it matters not if you have completed school. There are other pathways outside of school to achieve your dreams, such as certain college subjects or trades one can do to make a decent living. But sadly, this doesn't exist in the Philippines for the poor. And remember, there are many millions of poor people in the country. Just look at probably 95% of job advertisements and you'll see their minimum requirements will be at least high school completed. But more commonly, they want you to have a minimum of a college certificate or a degree. And this is often for just very basic jobs. Now, you can be sure that with no pathway outside of the school in their younger years, where's the hope for the future for these people just trying to get a start in life? This is another major factor as to why we have so much generational poverty in the Philippines as we head into 2025. Another problem around generational poverty in this country is around the church and the education around family planning. Now, we know that the Philippines is a highly religious country and many will follow the church's directives. But the church could have a positive impact on poverty if they so choose. Now, I'm not talking about giving money to the poor or creating more food programs, although that would be nice. I'm talking more around the church's stance on the use of contraceptives. Right now, so many young women and girls are getting pregnant, and it's not just once, but they may have multiple babies over several years. These girls and women are already in poverty, and bringing more people into their world is just creating less for their family. They do this because, firstly, the church doesn't condone the use of contraceptives such as a pill, and secondly, because there's a lack of education around family planning. Yes, they can access the pill or condoms in the Philippines, but many won't even know of their existence, simply because their parents don't know themselves or they follow the church directive. Now, of course, I understand there are some good not-for-profit organisations doing some great work around this area, but it's just not enough, especially in the outlying province areas. The final thing I'll address is briefly around the parents who destine their own children to a life of poverty, or at least not being able to save money to get ahead in life. I'm talking about parents who are young enough and capable enough to earn an income themselves, or at least to try and make some money rather than sitting back and expecting their children to pay for everything for them. Yes, it's tough in the Philippines to get work, but there is work there for some if they at least try to find it. Now, this happens widely throughout the Philippines, but don't get me wrong, families should help families where possible. But to rely on your own children when you're capable to earn money yourself is just holding your own kids back at their expense for any sort of future. I see it all the time that parents place the expectation on their kids from a young age. So these kids grow up believing this is what I must do. Now, if you want to find out more about this particular topic, I go into this more in my video appearing on screen now. So be sure to check it out and give me your thoughts on this delicate subject. Until the next video, thanks for watching, stay safe and take care.